Well, welcome back. We are learning so much about the beautiful stories of adoption through a recent documentary called I'll See You Later. Bruce, what impacted you most as you filmed this documentary?
Oh boy, I think probably the honesty and the vulnerability of the people that we talked to that told their stories. I mean, you asked Preston a question about some of the things that touched him and some of the stories. Well, there's a young lady in the film named Katie Higdon, and she was adopted obviously as an infant, and we tell her story and her parents' story. And by the way, her dad Rick is really the heart and soul behind this entire operation. He was the one that identified that we should do something about adoption.
Wow.
But Katie tells the story, Laurie, about when she was 8 or 9 years old, and she saw her birth mom. They reached out, and she wanted to see her birth mom, and the birth mom came back to the hotel with Rick and Shirley, and they were having a little conversation after dinner. And Katie crawled up on her knee and looked her in the eye, and she said, "Do you love me?" And I'll tell you what, there are a lot of tears flowing at that point. An 8 or 9 year old girl wrestling with all those things. If you did, how come you chose adoption? And now Katie's just a wonderful young lady, and of course she understands it. But their parents were open about it and talked to her about it. And then we have Erica, who at 15 years old gave birth, and she was explaining how she got for 3 days in the hospital with her baby Asia. She said, "I filled her ears with all of the things of love," and then eventually had the adoption placement ceremony. And so it's just really, really raw, and it's really, really beautiful. It'll change you for sure. It'll change your perspective on adoption.
I totally agree. And those stories, that's just a taste of what's in this documentary. And you're so right. There, every, person involved in adoption, they come to it, as you say in the documentary, from a place of loss. So it's like grief intermingled with joy. So tell us about this tension and what you discovered in the stories that you tell. Bruce, why don't I ask you first, and then Preston, you can respond.
Yep. Okay. Well, I think that you would be hard pressed to find an emotion, Lori, that is not in the documentary. So just when you think it's joy and it's love and it's beauty, it is all of those things, but it's pain too, and it's gut wrenching. And people in many ways, for people, adoption is a second place. It's a second choice. And but out of it comes something amazing and something beautiful, and families that are forever families that are created. And I think my hope with this is that more people will see it. More young potential birth moms would see this and say, "Wow, I had no idea that this is what adoption can be, that this is what adoption is, and maybe it'll work for me." And that's the hope. But it is all of the emotions that you could ever think of, and it will. It's a if you I defy you to watch this film and not shed a tear. I'll put
Yeah,
it like that.
yeah. But
Yeah.
it's like it is a grief mixed with joy. Like you're moved
Yes.
by the loss and yet the joy of being found and the courage that takes from each person participating in adoption. Preston, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think there's a tremendous honesty and authenticity to it. And one thing we discovered as we started filming is we were capturing real stories of real people experiencing deep love. And this sense of the way of making a family through adoption is just so full of this kind of heart wrenching love. And this is something I think all of us long for, is to be in meaningful relationships of care with each other. And so when I talk about this authenticity, it comes across. This is not an infomercial for adoption. This is trying to capture all of the pieces and the sides of it. And what it's doing, we are discovering, is it's making a number of people who watch it reach out to us and say, this is beauty. And I think beauty is often encapsulated in this paradox of something that is hard and something that is good, and something that's hopeful and something that is costly. And boy, I think that that's really a deep part of our faith too, in a lot of ways.
Oh, I totally agree with you. It's like you're talking about the gospel itself, right? Like the pain and sacrifice that Jesus did for us out of love and
Mhm.
rescues us and invites us into his family. Like, I think that's why it's actually God's story. It's the most profound story ever. And you said it already, but the documentary clearly illustrates how love is the primary motivation for everyone involved in adoption. So, where did you see this in each of the stories, Bruce?
Ah, boy. Well, you see it woven through everybody's relationship. I mean, if you could read, again, I'm giving people, I think, a snapshot of the film here, Lori, and telling some things. But Erica, the young birth mom at 15. Sorry, who was a birth mom at 15, and now Erica's, has a family of her own, and Asia, her daughter is in her 20s. She reads a letter that was written to her by Asia's adoptive parents. So Asia's mom wrote a letter to Erica, the birth mom, and talked about the things that you need in adoption, and those being love, and those being trust, and those being faith. And she tears up and she reads the letter in the documentary. There's a connection between a birth mom and adoptive parents that will never be broken.
Yeah.
This is what you see in the stories as people connect. I mean, families. It's obviously not traditional as most of us know it, but some of the most glorious and some of the most beautiful stories come from it.
Yeah. Oh, so, so true. Preston, a quick final word. Where can people find this documentary?
Well, we have set up a website, illseeyoulater.com, and you can rent it or buy it through Vimeo. And so it has been through the film festivals. It was in 15 different film festivals in North America and Europe, and it did really well. And so we just released it publicly just a couple months ago. And so we're really, really proud of it, hoping people find it, for sure.
Well, you can also find it. Go to I'll See You Later. Find it at 700club.ca. We'll put all the links and information there. And I personally strongly encourage each and every one of our viewers to watch this, to share this, to learn from it. Thank you so much to both of you for telling this beautiful story and really equipping us to understand adoption better.
Thank
Bless you,
you.
Lori. Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.